Sounds good. Hey,
Welcome everybody. I am here with Robbie. It's been a long time, Robbie. How you doing?
good man, good. Riding the wave. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. We're about to talk about episode 1 of Lanterns before we
Before we do
watch.
that, I'm so sorry to cut
Yeah.
him off, but I'm just gonna broadcast this guy real quick. My man just finally got monetized, so
Oh,
everybody that's watching, give him just a big round of applause because this man works hard. He does amazing stuff, and he is like one of the only other people that I personally know that is as big into comics in general, but DC comics as well. And the authenticity and everything that comes through in his videos, you guys, it's just it's a joy to watch and listen to him because I actually like sometimes on my drives to work, I live like 45 minutes away from work. I'll just listen to his stuff and it's just engaging. So congrats to this man for finally getting monetized. Took him too long, but he's here. So give him all the love he
uh,
deserves.
thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
And just being able to be on here and talk to this stuff with you about it, just like forming this superhero community. We can all come together and just talk about this awesome genre is just one of the greatest pleasures in my life. So
Yeah,
thank you for
same.
being a part of this journey with me.
Likewise, man. Appreciate it.
So yeah, let's get into it because episode 1 of Lanterns, like I'm already excited for episode 2, but we gotta talk about episode 1 and just overall, just a general opinion on it. I'm addicted to it so far. I'm not episode 1 finished, and I was like, okay, they're doing that thing where they bunch up episode 1 and 2 on the first week, right? And so I was trying to press next episode. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But what did you think? What did you think of episode 1? Just
I
overall.
honestly thought it was gonna be one of those things where they did do episode 2 right after episode 1, like you have the 2 episode premiere. They've done that for a lot of things, and yeah, they did not. So I was sad about that. But once it started, at first I was like, okay, it's a little weird. This his dad is shooting an apple off of his head. All right, that's weird. But
Yeah.
I think it's meant to be weird to show the dynamic that he had as a kid and to show how his no fear thing kind of was instilled in him from that young of an age. So when you see him being so nonchalant and looking like, it's like, oh, well, I mean, look at how his dad used to shoot apples off his head as a kid. He's not scared of anything. So
Yeah.
I really liked the way how this is set up. A lot of people online that I've seen in groups I'm in and everything, I've had to leave some of them because people are just so toxic and crazy. And they're talking about, oh, I hate the fact that they made him a granny chaser. It's like, first of all, she doesn't even look like a grandma. First of all,
Yeah.
second of all, any one of y'all would have done the same thing he did. So shut up. You're just mad because you're attracted to her too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, and also my wife and I were talking about it because we were also just like, I mean, Aaron
Yeah,
Pierre, like you could anybody, but
yeah,
also you're in rural Nebraska. Options are limited.
exactly. Options are very limited. Like, what do you? It's not like he's in Miami. Like,
Yeah. And like that's a beautiful woman too that he
yeah,
was
no, I
with.
mean,
Definitely older, but I'm just like, hey, it was the confidence in her, just like
that's
walking
what
into
it
my
is.
truck,
Yeah,
and you're just like, dang.
like,
I mean,
yeah.
okay. Sometimes like confidence is just as attractive as like physical appearance.
Confidence is key. That's what they say. So
She was like, I saw that man and I said yes. And I feel like a lot of people who are attracted to men would agree. John Stewart kind of got it going on. So he's like, she gonna shoot her shot.
yeah, and she did. And I mean, the way how she was even talking to him at the bar, I was like, who are you? Like, why are you talking to John Stewart this way? Do you not know who this is? But
Yeah.
it was an interesting dynamic that they did in that episode. And even though, yeah, I mean, that's not my favorite part of the episode. And I mean, I feel like we could have kind of done without it. But at the same time, there's a reason why it's in there because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things they're doing here. And someone I saw, I think it was on Instagram, I think, or it was on X, one of them was like, guys, everybody's complaining about this like sex scene, but like, what if it's a manhunter that kind of tricked him? Like, what if it's a manhunter that tricked him? And because, like, the Guardians and the manhunters in and Green Lantern Volume 3. There, I'm going to talk about that later on, with especially with Parallax Hal. Uh, what if it was a Manhunter, just kind of like, okay, so this is the guy. We obviously see Hal Jordan. We're watching him, but here's another guy. Oh, he's training. He's a backup. That doesn't make any sense. Why would the Guardians do that? You know what I mean? Like, guys, can we think real quick before we just like judge? It's like, think about all the semantics here. Come on.
Now I'm like really hoping she is a Manhunter.
Well, I mean, I hope it's like a female Manhunter, even though I think Manhunters are generally male, right?
They're just like they're all robots, so technically,
so yeah,
they're neither. It's just it's just like, you know what? Instead of destroying the Green Lanterns, we are gonna have sex with all of them and just make it really weird. That would be our revenge.
People are weird, bro. You know,
Yeah.
like, who knows?
who knows what vengeance causes people to do?
I mean, I'm telling you, it's weird. Like, I feel like there's a reason why they put that in there. The way how the whole episode is, it was such a weird tonal shift that it's almost too obvious of a tonal shift. Like, there has to be a reason for it. Obviously, well, it's that guy's wife, which.
So it seems like it was planned in a way.
Ain't nothing better than eating off another man's grill, huh?
When he first said that, I just kind of. At first, it just like went right over my head. I was just like, I mean, you invited them over for a barbecue. Why are you mad about it? It's just, and then you know, John Stewart kind of looked ashamed, and I'm like, oh, dude knows he got with his wife.
Yeah, he porked his wife. But how?
But at the same time, it was like he was the husband was very chill about it. So I'm like, oh, it was a setup. I feel like it was a setup.
What? Why are you so like? Especially because obviously he knew before, right? So even when he's like, oh yeah, oh my god, what is it, combat specialist or something, marksman,
like
expert
sniper.
marksman, yeah, I said something like that, and he's like, oh, looked me up, and it's like, so obviously he knew who he was. He knew from there, and he's like, yeah, you know, okay, we got tofu steaks, we got you. You're like, what are you doing here? What is his end game? So there's a lot going on here, man, and I feel like people are too surface level nowadays. Like, they want everything spoon fed to them. So it's like, oh, I have to think. Terrible.
Yeah. I can already see like this whole episode. That's one of the things I liked about it. It different genre, but it kind of reminded me of the first Godfather movie, where it's just like very much at the beginning, it was just putting pieces in place and just setting up like, all right, this is going to lead to something, this is going to lead to something, and it's just like so many different things you had to be able to keep track of. But at the same time, it wasn't too overwhelming because all those pieces are connected to one story that it's leading to. A lot of world building is happening in this, and I'm like, come on, it was building up. It was kind of like we were talking about before the stream earlier, like it's putting all the ingredients in a crock pot, and I'm just starting to smell something cooking.
And it's just a slow, it's a really good slow burn, you know,
real good slow burn, and I'm really digging it. But let's go back to the beginning of the episode and try to just like figure out what the heck that was about. Like with the dad, like obviously it seemed like John Stewart looked up to Hal Jordan as a kid, but it also seemed like it was more than that. Like his dad was training John Stewart. That's what I saw it as. He was training his son to potentially be the next Green Lantern by making sure he had no fear. Did you get that vibe, or you think it was something else?
I got several vibes. One of them was that was one of my theories, is like, okay, so obviously his dad, maybe when the kids went to sleep or something, would watch these things and see like, okay, why is he so obsessed with this? Like, what is going on? And that's why he's like, Hal. Like the way he said that, I was like, why are you mocking it? Like, what's the problem here? And then when he took him out there and saw that his son had no fear, he was like proud of him. He's like, oh, let's go. What did he say? Let's go get burgers, or let's something. He said, let's go get some food. And he was very proud, and he like welcomed him. You know, I thought he was going to be more like, kind of mean, you know, even though he showed no fear, I thought he was still going to be mean. So it's weird. I feel like they're definitely going to pare it back to that, because I agree with you. I think it's one of the things is definitely training him to maybe be the next Green Lantern, or just training him in general. His dad is in the army, and then John grew up to go into the army, you know? So, I mean, I feel like it's a multifaceted kind of thing. He's
Yeah.
training him to have no fear so he can join the army and protect his country and protect himself. But also when he called his dad, when John called his dad earlier, was like, "Oh, he's giving me the runaround or whatever, blah blah blah," and his dad's like telling him to kind of not encouraging him, but kind of a little
Like
bit
push through it, you knew.
yeah, push through it. It's like, wait, so did you know that he was gonna somehow be chosen? Like, what's the deal here? So I feel like even though it's so subtle and small, there's a lot more to it than just surface level, like, oh, my dad was kind of crazy and shot apples off my head. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not it for sure.
No
Definitely
lie, I was just like, someone get this baby away from that man. Like, what you mean? Like, I'm sure there are other ways to train fearlessness in your child.
Yeah, like
Other
what
than
if you missed, and like what if you accidentally like had like a, I don't know, a beetle fell on you and you were just like, oh shit, and then not even, you know,
Bop! And that's
his
the
head
end
is
of John
popped off.
Stewart.
Like,
And I'm like, no one called the cops on this man. Like, hey, he's shooting at his baby. Like, something going on. Hey, he been doing that for a while because you just see
all the
bullet holes. So like, maybe even when he was a baby,
that's a good
apples
point.
off his head.
That's a good point. I remember seeing that. Like, there were so many, and there were, you know, obviously they grew, and I'm like, wait a minute, how how long you been doing this, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how long have you been shooting apples off your kid's head?
Right.
Like, I mean, I guess think about it. He's an army officer. Who knows what his rank is? Maybe nobody. They're like, I ain't saying nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
none of my business,
yeah.
I guess. But I'm like, I feel like I feel like Hal Jordan was the Green Lantern for a bit before John Stewart was born. So that makes me think his father knew about the Green Lanterns, you know, gave him time to understand like what exactly they're looking for. So from the beginning, he's been trying to mold John Stewart into potentially being the next Green Lantern, since the whole thing is about fearlessness and like will.
No, I agree.
So kind of molding him to be the perfect soldier, or maybe the Guardians, and that's what it's leading to. The Guardians want that perfect, obedient Green Lantern, you know, which is, you know, why he comes from a strict military family, doesn't question authority. And then we get to the 2016 timeline, and you know, we start to see this dynamic between Hal Jordan and his new trainee John Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Hal Jordan is testing John's not respect, like obedience to authority, and in a way just wanting him. Like at first I thought he's just giving him a hard time, but also it's like he wants him not to be so obedient. As at the same time he wants him to like think for himself.
Yeah, I got that too.
Which the Guardians, I'm assuming, don't want that. They're like, no, we want you to do what you're told.
Yeah. And want it to be more like a not subservient. That's not, but I mean, no, yeah, that's basically what it is. They want them to be more subservient, and like that's why they've had problems with Hal Jordan, right? Because and Guy Gardner as well, Jesus, because they're just more like, you know, instead of like, all right, yes, Guardians.
Yeah. It's just like, I mean, I'll do good, but I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna do what I think is right.
Yeah.
And you know, at first I thought I wasn't gonna like Hal Jordan. It's like, don't be mean to my sweet baby John Stewart. We love John Stewart here. Oh, by the way, everyone, let me know who you think the MVP of episode 1 was, John Stewart or Hal Jordan. We got a little poll, right? Am I pointing at it? I'm looking. I have two screens. Yeah. I have two screens and they're different.
Your left hand.
It's on the bottom left corner.
Yeah.
Wherever I'm looking. So put your votes in there. And then who the MVP is, we'll look at the votes later on. But yeah, I thought I wasn't gonna like Hal Jordan for how he was being towards John Stewart. But, you know, as you're watching episode 1, especially the 2016 timeline, it seems like everything that Hal Jordan has been doing is just methodical. There's a method to the madness. It leads to something. So you think he's a goof, but then, or just like a drunk, he's lazy, he's just over his job, but
he's an ass.
he's an ass, but he still manages to get to where he wants. Like, and when they're investigating the murder at the football field of all the, like, he called it that they were aliens.
Dude, I knew it. I knew
that they were victims. And then he pinpointed the guy who was an alien just hiding out. And he told John, like, hey, don't like, you know, John once again is like trying to respect that chain of command.
Yeah.
And by doing so, he almost let that alien get away. You know, so it's just like, oh, so Hal was right. And then when Hal said, like, oh, he is an alien, and started interrogating him, like, boom, yeah, he was an alien, which that was a great interrogation, by the way. It was. Those were some solid questions. It's like
that, just the way how he did that, man.
It's like you're a rural Nebraskan and you have no opinions on Barack Hussein Obama.
That was so funny because I literally said that he's like, he's the president of the United States. I was like,
there was some controversy about his birth certificate. Holy shit, you're an alien.
Yeah, dude, especially a Nebraskan, they would have some strong opinions about Obama. I mean, even some black people have some strong opinions about Obama, but I mean, it's just the fact that that's all he said. It's like, he could have tried so much harder and been like, yeah, he's the president of the United States. However, that was a doozy for some Americans, if you know what I mean. You know, he could have, but it just goes to show that aliens, they're so like laser focused on getting the facts straight,
yeah,
that you come off robotic, so you give yourself away, you know.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was a good point. It was like most aliens like focus on the specific details of whoever they're impersonating, but not general knowledge, which, you know, makes a lot of. Well, I was like, oh yeah, duh.
Yeah, like why wouldn't I have thought of that?
I was like, yeah. Oh, so next time, if we think someone is an extraterrestrial, you got to ask him general questions. Like, oh man, it sucks that Namor was killed in the second Black Panther movie. Just like, what?
You're like,
oh yeah, that did suck. Like,
You'd be like,
gotcha.
Yeah, fuck. Where did Harry Potter go to school? Oh my god, that was so. When he said that, I was like, why is he?
I was like, that was a random question. Like, oh, that makes sense.
That's good, because that's when you think about it, that's also in cop interrogations. They'll be like, how you doing, man? Need anything? You know, you need a water, you know, the whole good cop, bad cop thing. Let's get him a water. Yeah. So I see that you're from Miami. Yeah, go Heat. I'm like, yeah, go Heat. Yeah, the Miami Heat. They were 2006 champions. Yeah. So where did something about Dan Marino? And I'd be like, oh yeah, he was a football player. That's not what I asked you, though. You know what I mean? Like it's obviously different, but like that, it's just crazy how everything is just so particular in this episode. Yeah. And as I saw as well that some people are like, oh, what if that's not really Hal? And I'm like, that could be a viable option, but I think it's more something else. Instead of, I think that's Hal. I think that's definitely Hal, but there's something else going on there.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that
something's not right.
Did you see that Tomorrowverse movie? Beware My Power?
No.
Oof.
No, I haven't. Let's hear about it. Is that?
Oh my God. Okay. So that one, that's one of my favorites in excuse me. That's one of my favorites in the Tomorrowverse, even though like the Tomorrowverse was really fast. I mean, but by the time it started, it was over, you know?
Yeah.
But that's obviously, it fixates on John Stewart. And, you know, it starts off with him being in the desert fighting, and I think it's Afghanistan. And he takes a knife he blocks somebody trying to knife him. And there's a knife that goes right through his hand, which Yeah, exactly. That kind of comes back into play later on. But the idea is years later, a Guardian came down and crash landed. John saw that and ran over to help, and the ring, the Guardian died and dissipated, and then there was something floating in the underneath the clothes that the Guardian was wearing, and it's a power ring. And then it gets on to John, and he's like, "What the? I don't want this. Like, what is this?" And then I can't remember the exact semantics, like word for word, but I know it's like, "Oh, take me to whoever can help," and it takes him to the watchtower in space. And there's Ollie, Martian Manhunter, and I think Vixen. Yeah, I think it's those three.
Gotta love Vixen.
And then what's it called? Ollie is like, how do you have my best friend's ring? What the hell's going on here? You know, so because obviously Ollie knows what's going on, but knows about the Green Lanterns. And basically it's they think Hal's dead, and then they go somewhere, and then the Sinestro Corps is there, and Hal Jordan's a prisoner, and for some reason Hal's just murking people. I mean, like, he is literally murdering people, and Ollie's like, excuse me, teacher. Hal, hi buddy. First of all, how you doing? Great to see you. Second of all, you just shot that guy square in the head. What's going on, pal? You okay? And it's crazy, you know. And then, oh man, dude, it's so good. Like, holy crap! Like, you come to find out, Oliver, Hal just keeps killing people. And even though, yeah, they're the Green Lantern Corps, whatever, and the Thanagarians, there's a war going on. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but I'm just going to tell you the basic stuff, because for the purpose of the stream and for what's going to lead into what I think about this episode and this series. Yeah, there's a war between the Thanagarians and the Ranians, and but it's a baseless war. It's just like everything. Like, it was manipulated by Sinestro and Hal Jordan. Even though Hal Jordan is a prisoner, he's actually, it turns out, he's the leader. Like, he's the leader. Like, Sinestro did something that they were fighting, and then Hal sent his ring off, like he released his ring, and then Sinestro sent a parasite into Hal, which is the Parallax parasite. But instead of Hal like succumbing to Sinestro's will, because Hal's has such strong will, yeah, he was infected, but he kind of embraced it, and he turns around and looks at Sinestro just like that, and Sinestro's like, well, looks like I'm not going to be the one leading. Looks like it's going to be this guy. And then, yeah, Hal is like, yeah, he's a beast. Like, I mean, holy crap. And him and Sinestro, they fly off, and then they come up with a whole thing. And oh my God, they are adapted. Well, that movie kind of adapts that Green Lantern Volume 3, number 50, I believe. Yeah, that came out in 94. And basically, how in that one, how Parallax is trapped in the Owen battery. So that's why the lanterns are susceptible to green, or the yellow, excuse me. That's why it's weak against yellow. That's the only reason, because Parallax is in the battery and it's infecting the battery. So that whole time, Parallax is finding a way to get to Hal Jordan, because he sees that Hal Jordan is strong, but also can be susceptible to fear. So during an event, the Reign of Superman event, Mongol and Cyborg Superman destroy Coast City. So Hal Jordan is distraught. His hometown is destroyed, and he's angry. He's fearful, all this other stuff. So over years, Parallax has been trying to infect him, because Hal Jordan is so mentally strong. But that was the tipping point, you know, like that was the tipping point. And Parallax was like, let's go, baby. So he infects him, and then Jesus Christ, bro, like Hal Jordan just starts murking people, and then he goes and kills the Guardians. Like he kills Sinestro. Well, he thinks he kills Sinestro, but Parallax and Sinestro manipulated him, and they made a construct of Sinestro, and it's a whole thing. But yeah, it's Hal Jordan like basically kills the Guardians and a lot of other Green Lanterns. And in this movie, he just like puts his hands out, and he's like, this is what I was meant for. And you just see 10 rings come onto his hand.
Cover of him with all the ring.
Yep, all
That
the
was
10
it.
rings, and then he just gets into this form, and I was like,
It's like
"Oh shit!"
the battle armor looking
Yeah.
form.
Yep.
That looks cool.
That looks cool, right? So I
That
mean,
looks cool.
and then in this series, they have Hal's uniform as more like a actual uniform instead of a construct. But
Mm.
it looks kind of like a battle armor. So the first thing I thought of was, oh shit, is this is this what we're doing?
Like,
Because
are
I
they
mean,
gonna?
I think that would be a great way to bring people in and be like, whoa, we thought Hal Jordan was this glorious hero. You good?
Yeah. My cat is coming up to yell at me, and I'm like, what? And then she was like,
Like, shut up.
and
I'm
then she
busy.
was just like, she just basically gave me the finger and walked the other way. So I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
all right,
Cats.
cats.
But no, man, yeah, like in that he Hal Jordan is basically like Parallax Hal Jordan, and the way how it gets resolved, I'm not gonna get into that now. I might save that for another time or for like a video on my channel because it's a whole really cool thing. If you haven't read that or heard anything about that, I would definitely look into that.
I'll
It
hop
is
onto that
awesome.
after
And
this.
we honestly we can do something on that together because that would be a whole episode in and of itself. Because
Say less.
if they do adapt that, that would be cool. Because then they could bring in the Spectre and then they can bring in other Green Lanterns. And now since Guy Gardner is obviously in the series, he's involved in that too. So that's another thing that made me think like, oh man, they're going that route for
They're
sure because
going.
they need Hal, they need John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner, they need Kilowog, they need so many people to help with this because it is Hal Jordan's basically a god
Yeah.
when he becomes like that, and it's just crazy how the whole thing happens and the history of it, man. So my prediction for this series, and I could be wrong, whatever,
Sir.
but my prediction is that one, maybe that granny, which she shouldn't even be a granny because she looks like she's just a mom, maybe is a manhunter or some sort of other shapeshifter. I don't know. That I'm gonna whatever. It could just be a hookup, whatever. But I'm gonna predict that they're gonna go the route of Parallax Hal Jordan, where he gets
Okay.
infected, and I'm not sure if they're gonna do the whole destruction of the city because that well, they kind of hinted at it with that alien saying, "Oh, I could destroy this whole city with a thought," and how I thought it was significant how Hal jumped on the bubble that he made. It's like, why?
That a part of the I really like that scene. Not to cut you off, but when because the whole time you feel like Hal Jordan's not really your typical what you expect from a Green Lantern, what you expect from a superhero.
Yeah,
But like little things like that, just jumping on top of the bubble to contain the explosion as much as possible, just shows like why he's a Green Lantern and that he does care.
yeah, he
Genuinely
does.
does care. But he's just old and gruffled and tired of too old for this nonsense, all this shenanigans.
Yeah, like honestly. And another thing could be while Parallax is possessing him and like starting to manipulate him, it like ages him a little bit more. So he
Mm-hmm.
looks a lot older and whatever. But then once that dissipates and everything gets settled, he starts getting his youth back, and then his hair starts getting back to brown instead of gray. Kind of like the construct was that came to John Stewart. I thought
Oh,
that was funny that they did that whole, how's
oh, damn!
construct
Am
from
I
whatever.
dead?
like shit, am I dead? Like I thought that was see, it's just these little things that they're doing that I'm like,
He's like,
what you
what's
doing
going
here? So I don't know, man. I feel like they might go that route. I don't know if they'll do everything, like bringing in Larfleeze with the Orange Lantern Corps and how well not Orange Lantern Corps, Orange Lantern because he's the only one, and the Guardians and Manhunters and everybody making an agreement. And I don't know if they're going to do that whole thing because, like I said, that's a whole other thing before all that. So,
Yeah.
but I would love to see them do that because Sinestro's in it. Sinestro's in the show. So what we doing here?
Well, what's happening?
Yeah, I'm curious because I would love to see that.
So
What do you think? Where do you think that they're going with this? Oh,
So,
excuse me.
so you know, I gotta try to avoid trailers from now on, because after episode 1 came out, they released another trailer, just kind of hinting at what's to come in future episodes. And a big thing that I'm kind of hyper fixated on is the Manhunters, because we know the Manhunters are going to be in this. And then in this new trailer, they said there's a singular Manhunter on Earth, and that there are aliens trying to find it. And it seemed like it's this whole thing like the Lanterns are trying to find this Manhunter before the aliens that are on Earth find it, which is confusing to me, because I feel like the Manhunters, their whole thing, correct me if I'm wrong, but their whole thing is they like to secretly infiltrate planets and slowly build up their forces until they can commit mass genocide of that entire sector, just like they did with Atrocitus, and that'll come to my point later. But so like I feel like that's what this is leading towards. You have these aliens trying to stop the Manhunters before they do what they did to these aliens planets, what they did to Earth. And I feel like because the series is called Lanterns, not Green Lantern specifically, it's called Lanterns.
Thank you.
So I think there's going to be way more than just the Green Lantern. So I think this series, first season, because we already seen Sinestro, so I think they're going to show a little bit of the Sinestro Corps, maybe, probably not a lot.
Not a lot.
They're probably going to save Sinestro and the Sinestro Corps for later on, maybe in a different season. Smart. But this first season, what a line that really caught my attention was the alien that Hal Jordan was interrogating. He brought up vengeance, and a big thing with vengeance, it comes from rage. So I'm thinking these aliens are disciples of the Red Lantern Corps. Maybe they're not necessarily Red Lanterns yet, but I think this is going to lead. Atrocitus. Yeah, I think it's going to lead to Atrocitus, because Atrocitus only exists because of the Manhunters.
Yep.
If it wasn't for the Manhunters, there'd be no Atrocitus, no Red Lantern Corps. So I think, and like one of the things Atrocitus can do is he can imbue people with rage.
Yep.
And especially since the Manhunters didn't just destroy Atrocitus's planet, they destroyed the entire sector.
The whole sector, which is crazy.
And there's only like 5 in the comics. There's only like 5 beings that survived that massacre. But for this series, they could like, oh, there were some stragglers here and there.
They could fiddle around with it.
I'm thinking Atrocitus is imbuing these species with rage to go after the Manhunters, so then he can find them and take them out. But at the same time, this rage is putting the people of Earth in danger. So it's just a giant war getting ready to start between the Manhunters and this surviving group of aliens that want revenge on them, plus this Red Lantern Corps, which has yet to be even discussed in a live action DC anything, as far as I know.
Not live action, no.
Not live action. Not like cool. I was thinking like maybe the CW did, because they did a lot, but
no.
Yeah. So I think this is going to lead to just a war between the Manhunters and the Red Lanterns. At least maybe not this season. It's going to be all like, oh, the Manhunters are here, and then the season finale reveal the Red Lantern Corps, and people are going to be like, wait, there's red ones now? And it's just like, oh, there are so many more.
Yeah. See our video from a while ago about the Lanterns.
Yeah, we had a whole discussion, and then I think even then, like since then, they added like 2 more. Like I think I read there's a gold Lantern Corps now.
Oh no, you're right. I think you're right.
You know what I'm talking
about? I think especially with like the newer comics that are coming out, I think I'd have to double check. So don't quote us just yet, guys. But I think there's a gold and something else. I know there's ultraviolet that we touched on, but we didn't really go too in depth with.
Yeah, ultraviolet, and then there's this gold one.
There's black, there's white,
and then they came up, and there's one more new one that they just did, and I'm like, okay, don't don't get too crazy with all the different lantern cores now. It's like it's kind of like I don't want it to get like Pokemon where there's like 4,000 and like some are just kind of redundant of each other, you know.
I agree. Yeah, there's a few. Yeah,
but yeah, I think this is this series is the way of expanding all the different lantern cores, and they're gonna do a soft tease of the Sinestro core, because, you know, people, not the general people, know about, you know, Sinestro and the yellow lanterns, but more so than any of the other lanterns, I feel like, in general knowledge. So they'll be like, hey, there's green, obviously, but there's also yellow, and we're also gonna introduce red in this. So that's why I think this series is called Lanterns. But one thing that I'm still kind of like, I have no idea where they're going to go with this, is that 2026 timeline where we see John Stewart and that sheriff again, who did not age a day, even though it's just like 10 years later, John Stewart has facial hair. That's how you know he's older.
Yeah, I was like, all right, there we go. But yeah, she didn't age a single day.
The sheriff looks the same after 10 years. Good for her. But
also,
she could also be an alien. I'm just saying. But you have a spoiler alert for anyone who didn't see episode 1. Like, we already been spoiling it, so sorry.
Yeah.
Hal, like, they find Hal Jordan's dead body, like a gunshot in the head, and no ring. So I'm just like, I can't. So it brought me back to what you were saying earlier. Like, maybe that's not really Hal Jordan, because a gunshot to the head, like, I mean, I'm sure it could happen, but the ring has to go somewhere. Like, you can't just steal a Green Lantern's ring. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So part of me is like, oh, so maybe that is a Parallax-like storyline, you know? But then again, Hal Jordan, like, I don't know how they're going to do that with Hal Jordan being dead, unless the only other reason is that's not really Hal Jordan.
I think, yeah, you're right. I think it's because if it was Parallax Hal, he'd definitely be alive and definitely have the ring. But it could be like an alien that was maybe trying to impersonate him, and either he found out or somebody, I don't know. I really don't know what that could be. So, and I kind of like that I don't know, because I'm curious to see where they go with that, because that could lead to any amount of things.
Exactly. I'm kind of thinking, like, a couple ideas coming to my head now is Hal Jordan faked his death so he can go do Parallax shenanigans if he is infected by Parallax, which I feel like could be a possibility, because he's so against what the Guardians stand for. Like, just based on his behavior in this first episode, it's very anti, like, trusting authority, like doing what I think is right type of thing. And that could be taken advantage of by the Parallax parasite, because, you know, he does have that meeting with Sinestro, as we saw in the trailers, and he seems very subservient to Sinestro, just based on the trailer. Or, like, we'll actually see it in the actual episode when it comes out. But I'm like, maybe at that point he already is. And so it's like, well, in order to get the Guardians off my back, I got to fake my death. Like, we already seen how realistic Hal Jordan's constructs are, you know, where he makes the counterfeit dollar bill.
That's crazy.
Great scene, by the way. Just put in that one song multiple times. That's a great
Jordan. Everybody else is just like, whatever.
He's like, hey, I'm going to go over there. It looks like I'm getting my ass kicked.
Just don't help. All right, no problem. Right here.
Cool. Yeah, no worries.
Thanks,
Guy. Yeah, so I'm thinking either that, but another kind of cool thing, which would be pretty awesome, but definitely a veer away from the comics, is what if John Stewart is Parallax? Like, what if they switch it, or the trainee? Because, like, he already seems to be groomed for something. You know, like, I'm assuming, like, at first we were assuming he's groomed to be the new Green Lantern. But what if that's just all part of this manipulation of, like, creating the perfect Green Lantern that has the strongest will, but also will be easy to control. And now we have John Stewart as Parallax, which I also think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be very cool. That's a hot take, and I'm here for it. I am here for that.
Wow. But like, yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I think mostly I'm excited to see the Manhunters. I think they're a great starter villain for this live action Green Lantern series. And, you know, I think it's like this whole season's a great way to expand the DCU, and like this universe is a lot bigger than what we just seen from the Superman movie and the Supergirl movie, you know, and you know, Peacemaker and all that.
Yeah.
So like I'm really excited for episode 2, and we like, you know, we can have all these predictions, but also I'm just like, but I could be totally wrong. I'm just excited where they're going to take you.
I agree with you. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got too. Aside from this, I am excited because this is definitely going to be something that the DC needs. Not just your typical happy-go-lucky show or movie, but you know, they're cursing in it. It's, you know, raunchy. It's, you know, dark a little bit. I like it. I like it a lot, and I would love that bait and switch where it's John who's Parallax John instead of Parallax Hal. But I at the same time just don't know. I just don't know what they're gonna do, man. You know, I'm excited to see what's coming, and I really wish I wasn't working tonight with 3 events so I could just watch it. But it's okay. I can watch it.
I won't message you any spoilers. I'll just send you messages like, bro, you better get on it tonight.
That's the thing. No spoilers. Just let me know. Okay, as soon as I get home, don't even shower yet. Just watch it and then go shower so you can contemplate your life while you're showering.
He's just sitting there, just like, dang, I can't believe that happened.
All right. I feel like we'll get a little bit more in this episode. Even if it is a slow burn again, I feel like we're still gonna get a little bit more.
It's been a really good slow burn though. I'm really into this series, and I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad they're focusing on more not unknown characters, but in terms of like general audiences.
Yeah.
Unknown characters, because I'm starting to notice a lot of people that aren't into comics like we are. You know, they're like, oh dang, I like this lantern vibe thing. I want to know more about them. So I'm like, ooh, cool. Great. Come be a geek with us.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
It.
Let's go.
It. I've been actually having coworkers, you know, because they know I'm a superhero guy, and so they'll come up to me and like, oh, Alex, do you know anything about like Green Lanterns and stuff? I'm like,
boy, yes, do I?
Oh, do I? And they're like, that's really cool. Like, is a lot of superhero stuff like that? I'm like, yes and no. Vastly different tones, but it's just all epic.
Yeah, it's all great.
All great. Man. But we have this poll here. We got a couple people on here. Go ahead and put your votes in on who you think the MVP of episode 1 was. Like John Stewart, Hal Jordan. Who do you think was the MVP? Or was it neither of these two? Was it someone else? Maybe the grandma that was able to score John Stewart. Like that's some respect points there. But who do you think, Robbie? Who do you think's the MVP?
I mean, the obvious one for me, it's gonna be John Stewart. He's my favorite Green Lantern, even from when I was a kid, you know. So I'm gonna say John Stewart because there's something else. There's a lot else going on here, and I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, same. You know, growing up, I like Hal Jordan. I love Hal Jordan in this series. I love the direction they're going with him. But, you know, I grew up a big fan of John Stewart. I first was introduced to him firstly in the Justice League animated series.
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh, who's this Green? Like he was just so cool to me. So I'm just gonna have that bias in there. And I'm like, sorry, I got to give it to my boy John. So yep. I think he's gonna win this poll. Gotta love democracy. No, wait, it won't let me vote. All right, well, y'all can vote in the comments.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna say I don't think it's gonna let you vote, bro.
it's just like you can't. The person who created this election.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy though.
Vote on it. But I think John Stewart too. So to me, that's the MVP. Robbie, great minds think alike. We agree. But
Yes,
what do y'all think? Who was the MVP of episode 1? And we might keep doing this. We might keep doing this each episode.
yeah, that'd be cool.
But once again, I'm so excited for tonight. But before we finish off, Robbie, do you have anything going on over on your awesome channel, The Big Rob Theory, you want to let everybody know about?
So yes, actually, we were just talking about this before. So guys, life has been a little rougher than normal the past month for your boy. I'm not going to get too much into it, but a lot of things have been shaken up. So sometimes we just need like a hard reset. And I'm going to be transitioning my channel. Not to, I'm still going to do some, excuse me, I'm still going to do movie reviews, but maybe not as much. I'm more going to be doing comic book breakdowns, discussions, analysis, character breakdowns, and just diving into some things, characters that I love, characters that are popping up in live action in both Marvel and DC. And people are like, oh, who is this? Why is all of a sudden people riding this train? It's not all of a sudden. People have been riding the train of Doom and other people for years. It's just now it's coming more into the public eye, and they're finally giving these heroes and villains the respect they deserve by showing what they can do, or a little bit. So I'll definitely be diving into that. What about you, Alex?
Ooh, so I gotta say, no, first off, I want to know more about what comics are you gonna want to talk about first? Like what's on your mind? What's calling to your heart to bring to the channel in this?
Well, the first one I think I'm going to talk about is the Watchmen and Justice League crossover, specifically with Barry Bruce and Reverse Flash and the Watchmen, that crossover. I think I'm going to dive into that a little bit because that one's a cool one. And then especially with Lanterns premiering, I'm going to dive into some Green Lantern comics, and with Doomsday coming up as well, just Spider-Man comics, some X-Men comics specifically as well, and just in general, just a few. I think I'm going to target more the ones that I like first, and then I'm going to go deeper into like the more niche ones and ones that people don't really know that much about.
I love it. Yeah, I love that, and that's something I feel like people need to know more about. Like this is important knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. Like you got to get into this. This stuff is so great, and Robbie's a cool dude, and he gonna get you right. He's gonna set you on the right path. And
thank you, sir.
And we got to vote for John Stewart. There we go. Thank you so much, Carmen. That's my mama. That's my mama.
Hey, mom.
Love you, mama. And my mom knows about John Stewart a little bit.
It's because he's the GOAT, man.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. We gotta love John Stewart. But that's all we have for today. I want to thank everybody for hopping on, for supporting us. Robbie, once again, thank you so much for coming on, and I'm absolutely looking forward to the next discussion with you.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be great, bro, because I feel like this series is gonna really help DC get back up there.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I want. Like, I want that competition between Marvel and DC. Like, I want them both to be at the top of their game. And
it's about time.
We as geeks all benefit when they're trying to push it in that competition. Exactly. But if y'all need to check out his channel, link to his channel will be in the description below. Go subscribe, go watch all his stuff. Robbie's amazing. And thank you all so much. Oh, one more. My mom says hi.
Hey, mom.
But thank you all so much, and we'll see you again soon. Talk to you later. Dun, dun.